We checked this morning and all the slots are taken up for Tuesday's vaccination clinic in Collier County. The North Collier Fire Rescue District is doing this at the Pelican Bay Community Center. It's for people 18 and older to get the Moderna vaccine. We have a link to the scheduling website on fox4now.com, and we'll let you know when more appointments open up. Today's the last day to get your COVID-19 vaccine at the old RSW terminal in Fort Myers. The Florida Department of Health is moving the site to the former Sears at Edison Mall starting on Monday.
Well, Cape Coral police say more than $2,000 worth of COVID-19 vaccines were stolen from a primary care office. 10 vials of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine were stolen from Physicians Primary Care of Southwest Florida. Investigators say this is the first crime of its kind here in our area. According to a police report, an officer was called to the location on Vizcaya Parkway Wednesday just after 3 after the 10 vials of the COVID-19 vaccine that were stored in a refrigerator went missing. KPD says if the person behind this is caught and convicted, they could serve a good chunk of time.
It's a grand theft, so technically a grand theft can come with at least 5 years in prison. It depends what the value of the grand theft is. It depends what the severity of the felony is. We have first, second, and third degree felonies in Florida. Third degree being the lowest is 5 years in prison.
Fingerprints have been submitted to police, with the case being turned over to the Property Crimes Unit now. Police say the department will be investigating this case to its fullest. All right, happening now, a billboard in a town near Pensacola is taking on Representative Matt Gaetz. The billboard reads, "Matt Gaetz wants to date your child." Gaetz is facing several different allegations right now, including one claim he had an inappropriate relationship with a 17-year-old. And this morning, an Illinois congressman is the first Republican to say Gaetz should resign. Representative Adam Kinzinger tweeted that, along with an article claiming Gaetz sent money to a man who's accused of sex trafficking. Gaetz denies these allegations. In fact, he plans to be a keynote speaker tonight at a conservative event in Miami. It's at former President Donald Trump's golf club. Donors and possible candidates for the 2024 election will be there.
Federal prosecutors now have permission to offer plea deals in some of the cases related to the Capitol riot. More than 350 people are charged in that breach, and it includes some people here in Florida. Many of their defense attorneys concede video like you see here would make it hard to defend their clients in a trial, but the cases have been on hold while the Justice Department considers plea options. Attorneys don't know at this point who will get those deals. A deadly shooting in Texas has investigators working to find a motive this morning. Reporter Joel Lopez from our sister station in Bryan shows us exactly what happened.
This is the picture of a DPS trooper's SUV after it was shot by a gunman on the run after a mass shooting in Bryan that left one person dead and 4 others injured.
Our trooper was shot. He has been life flighted to St. Joseph's Hospital in Bryan.
The suspect drove down FM 39, forcing local schools to close while law enforcement was in close pursuit. The injured trooper is in surgery tonight. Authorities say he's in serious condition but stable.
This is a very active investigation, and so there's a lot of answers that we're working to get right now.
Law enforcement blocking off the road where the trooper was shot, asking residents to turn around. Investigators remain on scene here and also at Kentmore Cabinets, where the mass shooting unfolded hours earlier.
Our prayers certainly go out to our trooper, but our prayers also go out to those who are suffering now as a result of the mass shooting in Bryan.
Officials say the male suspect is in custody. So far, no word on their motive.
Well, we know this pandemic has put a strain on people looking for jobs, and here at Fox 4, we're dedicated to helping you rebound. This morning, Linny Supaw looks into what you should do if you think your age is keeping you from getting a job.
Getting back to work means clocking extra hours at CareerSource for Carol.
I'm having problems with the online Connect.
She's sharpening her skills and fine-tuning her resume with the free resources and on-site help available in West Palm Beach.
I just had a job interview yesterday.
However, follow-up phone calls after an interview are sparse. She's worried her age is standing in the way.
I know I filled out applications where they ask you what year you graduated high school because they're not allowed to ask your age. And that itself is, to me, discriminating. It's hard, especially for us older folk.
There's no reason to discriminate on somebody's age.
Nicole Anderson is the CEO and founder of Mend, a recruiting company.
You get so much more experience and knowledge and wisdom from the older generation.
Anderson recently worked with another job seeker who voiced a similar concern.
We just told her, focus on your skills, not the dates of employment, and let's see what that does. And it's been very well received.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the labor force participation rate for workers over 55 is sitting at its worst level since the outbreak spread across the U.S.
It's so hard to get people into work right now, and you have people that are eager to come in.
Anderson also warns job seekers to be cautious if questions about age come up in conversation.
On your resume, don't put any dates regarding your education. Don't answer those questions if they ask them. If they're asking that question, it's not a place you want to work.
Time right now is 5:08. The month of April marks Autism Acceptance Month, and this morning a new center dedicated to providing support for families with people on the autism spectrum is now open here in Southwest Florida. The Family Initiative Autism Support Center held its official ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday. Organizers say they've seen a growing demand from hundreds of families here in our area. Many people say they need a place for their kids to develop skills and create connections.
I think today's just like an overwhelming day for us and for our families. You know, April being Autism Acceptance Month, you know, this space has particular significance to us and everyone else in the community. And we're just ecstatic and thrilled to bring this resource to the community and to support families that have children on the autism spectrum.
Now, the group says this facility is a first for Southwest Florida, and they look forward to what this means for families here in our area. To learn more about how you can get involved, just go to our website, fox4now.com.
We are headed into the weekend and we are cooking, Trent. Close to 90 degrees today?
Literally might be cooking
right
at the pool later on today. That's a life goal right there. Hey, let's get you checking the radar here as we go to break, as we're seeing a little false return showing up, but we do have an increased chance of rain coming up here as early as Sunday. Full forecast minutes away.
Governor Ron DeSantis says he's fighting back against the CDC. He says the federal government is keeping several Florida industries from rebounding. Lauren.
All right, but first, let's get a check of those traffic hotspots before the break. Brought to you by the injury law experts at Farah & Farah.
My clients are everyday people. My opponents are universally insurance companies or large companies. You have us on your side and they're going to have their lawyers. And this is one situation where it's a fair fight.
Good morning, everybody. 5:13 is the time, and we are looking live out at Cape Coral. This is the view from our tower camera here at the Fox 4 studio, and there's not much to see. Pine Island Road is kind of quiet right now. It is a nice morning. It is going to be clear. The sun is going to come up, and it is going to get warm. Trent will tell you about the hot weather coming our way and the rain a little later this weekend. We'll get with him in just a couple of minutes. Royal Caribbean will cancel its cruises through June 30th. The company says it'll give workers more time to get ready to open back up in July. The company is getting that information to passengers who have refunds and credit from canceled cruises. Governor Ron DeSantis says the entire industry and all the Florida tourism businesses linked to cruises are suffering right now because the Centers for Disease Control will not allow them to reopen. So he's suing the CDC.
I'm happy to announce that on behalf of the tens of thousands of Floridians whose livelihood depends on the viability of an open cruise industry, today Florida's fighting back. We're filing a lawsuit against the federal government and the CDC demanding that our cruise ships be reopened immediately. So our view is people can make the decisions that they want to make. People are going to cruise one way or another. It's a question is, are we going to do it out of Florida, which is the #1 place to do it in the world, or are they going to be doing it out of the Bahamas or other locations? And so I think that the answer to that question should be obvious for Floridians. We want our folks to be able to go back to work. We want to be able to stand up for them and their families.
The state of Florida's lawsuit claims the CDC exceeded its authority by shutting down the cruise ship industry during the pandemic.
Rapper Lil Nas X will have to stop selling his devilish sneaker line he released in collaboration with a Brooklyn company. Nike sued that Brooklyn shoe company, claiming the so-called Satan shoes infringed on its trademark Nike swoosh. Only 666 pairs of the shoes were made, but yesterday a judge ruled they will all have to be recalled. Lil Nas X was not named in the lawsuit, but he won't be able to choose who gets the last pair of those sneakers like he planned to do.
Today's more of a flip-flop day in Southwest Florida anyway, Trent. It's going to be a little warm.
Yeah, even though it might feel like you're walking where the devil resides at times today. Going to be in the upper 80s, our warmest day of the week here as we crank up the heat. Right now on the radar, a lot of false returns showing up here over the southern part of the state, and that's pretty typical this time of year. We're not seeing any type of real rain from Naples all the way up past the Peace River. So with the dry day in store, we're going to see these temperatures, which are mild this morning, in the upper 50s from Clewiston to LaBelle to low to mid 60s along the coastline, and we'll crank that heat up to about 88. Already this morning, we're running anywhere from 2 to 5 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. And you can see that wind is out of the southeast, 5 miles per hour to be 5 to 10, and it'll turn slightly out of the southwest later as the sea breeze front tries to kick in. Ridge of high pressure still anchored right here. You can see the center north there of the Bahamas, and that's pushing a very warm, moist flow across the southeast that's going to help spark some severe weather. Now, the rain we're seeing early in the Panhandle will stay up along I-10. We're going to stay nice and dry here through this evening. For Saturday, we'll stay dry most of the day, but after sunset, we start to see a few more clouds, maybe a rain shower here. The bulk of the rain chances this weekend are going to be on Sunday. Early in the morning, we might have a few showers approaching the coastline and then a few thunderstorms there throughout the afternoon and evening. And by Monday, that rain chance comes down. I want to show you a little closer look at it. I'm going to stop it at the first chance of rain, and that's Saturday, right around 6 o'clock. You see some of those showers approaching the coastline. Not everyone is going to pick up rain. We all need it desperately, though. And Sunday, around 10 o'clock, you see a few more of those showers and thunderstorms rolling through. And right now, the model painting the heaviest rain down in Collier County, where Naples so far this year has picked up less than 2 inches of rain. We got the new Drought Index yesterday at 8:30 in the morning, and more of Southwest Florida being painted in this moderate category. And we're starting to see those conditions get a little bit worse, and it's easy to see why. Check out the deficit here in Naples, some 5.36 inches behind. The total for the year, only 1.62. Fort Myers now approaching 4 inches behind for the season. So high pressure blocking the storm systems from moving in our direction over the next day or so, but eventually we'll see a shift in that as we have a severe weather threat this evening for the southeast. Then overnight into Saturday, another line comes through as that upper level low continues to slowly move there through Illinois and Indiana. And that severe weather threat today has been increased to a moderate chance by the Storms Prediction Center. A high chance here of tornadoes along I-55 from Jackson stretching through the northern parts of Louisiana. Your Ingram marine forecast looks pretty good here today. Seas 1 to 2 feet. Water in the Gulf up to 76. No advisories are in place as we'll see those temperatures again soar into the upper 80s. Overnight tonight, a little warmer. In the mid 60s we go. Our average this time of year is 62. And you can see the weekend forecast, kind of a split one. Saturday, the nicer day, will be hot and dry. And then once those showers and thunderstorms are out of here early Monday, we dry out once again through the mid parts of next week.
All right, Trent, headed outside, still kind of dark, so we can't get a good visual of that great forecast you just told us about as we head into the weekend. All of these drivers are in luck, though, because they have no weather worries to slow them down, no traffic worries to slow them down here, I-75 near Colonial. We have some slow spots. That's not one of them, but outside of I-75, we do have one, Daniels Parkway westbound, right at Three Oaks Parkway. The traffic starts to ease up after you pass I-75 and head towards 6 Mile Cypress. Headed down to Collier County, we also have some delays building up eastbound along Immokalee Road there. You can see it's right at the intersection of Winterview Drive and then continues as you approach I-75's on-ramp. A good indicator of how that morning commute is shaping up is always the bridge times. When those drive times are low, you know we're looking good. So at the moment, you could see that the midpoint bridge from about Del Prado to US 41 green in both directions, but as you head eastbound, that stretch only going to take you 5 minutes. And then on the Cape Coral Bridge, the same stretch only going to take you 6 minutes. That's your morning traffic.
All right, Lauren, thank you. A teacher surprises her students with some special words of encouragement ahead of a big testing day. We'll share how these bracelets turned into the mantras the kids really needed to empower themselves. 5:19 is the time. You're watching Fox 4 Morning News. Time right now is 5:22. This year's National Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. is canceled. The Park Service says many of the high school bands and drill teams involved can't travel right now because of COVID-19. They also haven't had enough time to rehearse or fundraise for the event. The National Park Service says the parade should be back next year. Here's hoping. The National Park Service says reservations are going to be mandatory if you want to go to Yosemite from May 21st through the end of September. The goal is to manage the number of visitors and reduce coronavirus risks. The national park already had a temporary reservation system in place from last June through October, and then again in February of this year. Visitors who make reservations will get a daily pass, which will be valid for 3 days.
This is a great story. A South Florida teacher is inspiring her students with words of encouragement. You see, she believes certain words can impact children in a positive way. As Tanya Rogers shows us, these elementary school students now feel great about themselves.
9-year-old Grace Fisher feels empowered by the words on her favorite bracelet.
This one, I like it because even though I can't do some things, instead of saying to myself, I can't do this, I can say, I can't do this yet.
Grace's third grade teacher made the bracelet for her and for each of her classmates right before their big testing day.
We had designed them ourselves like a few weeks before, and we were going to have a paper, but then Miss Rue went ahead and she made the bracelets without even telling us.
Third grade teacher Marilee Root believes in the power of words to encourage young minds. Words on a bracelet.
It's changing that mindset. That's all it is. And that a simple word or phrase can totally shift your mindset. A lot of them were, I can do this, or you can do it. 2 of the kids did try hard.
Mrs. Root calls the bracelets G-bands. She makes them herself, sometimes as early as 4:30 in the morning before she heads to school. Even adults buy the G-bands with their favorite positive message.
What I didn't realize is not only kids are digging it, but adults and parents and grandparents and athletes and dancers and cheerleading teams. It just proves how empowered we all love to feel and how much we need those reminders.
First of all, that our teacher did this and surprised them on the first day of FSA testing was so powerful for the children because it was a nice surprise. And these words have really turned into mantras for them. And I love that they're using these G-bands to empower themselves to do better.
A Southwest Florida Public Defender's Office is out of order this morning. What's going on with its website? The time is 5:25. You're watching Fox 4 Morning News.
Live from the station that's in your corner. You're watching Fox 4 Morning News.
5:28 is the time, and we want to show you this live look from the Fox 4 breaking news tracker driving northbound on Summerlin Road. Dark and early on this Friday morning. The good news is, weather-wise, we are looking clear and quiet. Traffic-wise, nothing to worry about on this stretch of roadway here. Of course, you can count on us to keep you posted, and we'll bring in Trent now to talk about what we can expect, because this morning has been pretty similar so far, at least, to the rest of the mornings this week. Maybe a little bit warmer, of course, and that humidity starting to creep back up. But it's Sunday that we're really going to start to see changes in the forecast.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed. We need it. I know a lot of lawns, canals, you see it in town, they're empty, and we need that rain. It's just amazing. Down in Collier County, we've received less than 2 inches for the year. Matter of fact, it's closer to 1.5 inches. We're going to have more on the fire danger risk coming up here in just a few minutes, but we want to get you out the door here at 5:30 as it is warm. 62 degrees right now in downtown Arcadia, 62 Placida, El Jobina 61. You can see the temperatures along the Caloosahatchee a little bit above that average of 62, and as we work our way inland here towards the lake, 63 Lakeport, Moorhaven checking in at 59, and down in Collier, Orange Tree 62, Everglades City at 60. Radar showing some false return popping up here. This is kind of typical this time of year. So as we look along I-75, not a single drop in sight. The earliest we're going to see any type of rain here will be on Saturday night into Sunday. Now, as far as that wind, it is light southeast this morning. It'll turn a little more out of the southwest this afternoon, and that 24-hour forecast here pushes our temperatures in the upper 80s. We're forecasting a high around 88 today. And just to give you an idea, if you're planning a little walk here this morning, if you're waiting on the sunrise, it's a little earlier this morning, 7:10. Later on tonight, it will set at 7:49. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we got the latest on the fire danger index.
All right, Trent, let's head outside to I-75. This is near Daniels Parkway. Looking a little more quiet here compared to where we were showing you earlier at Colonial, but still a couple of drivers out there. Nothing to slow them down, though, northbound, southbound throughout Southwest Florida. We have no crashes for I-75. We do have a couple of slow spots that are picking up. One of them going to be Daniels Parkway at Three Oaks Parkway, especially in the westbound lanes. Things ease up the further west you get. Also down in Collier County, we also have some delays at Mockley Road as you head eastbound. That's at Winterview Drive, but it does continue until about I-75. It eases up the closer to Golden Gate you get. Drive times are on the low side across the bridge, 5 minutes on the Midpoint Bridge from Del Prado to US 41. The same stretch on the Cape Coral Bridge going to take you 6 minutes. That's your morning traffic.
Like all the green. Lauren, thank you. The Public Defender's Office in Fort Myers is working to get its computers online this morning. You see, the office says it was hit with a malware attack, and its website, we just checked, is still down. The Public Defender's Office says the attack happened late last week. This is what happens when you're trying to log on. It's trying to figure out how bad the damage is right now. We spoke with cybersecurity expert Evan Lutz to get some perspective on what's going on. He didn't have any specifics about this case, but he says most of the time, cyber criminals are trying to get money by holding data for ransom.
Typically, it's an entire network that's compromised, all of the computers, and then what the threat actors will do is they will ransom all of the computers at the same time so that all of your computers are now inoperable, and so now you have to pay them a large sum of Bitcoin to get all of your computers back.
The Public Defender's Office didn't give us a timeline for when its website will be back up and running, but they say the phone lines are still open, staff are still working, and the cybersecurity team is making progress. This is what we mean when we say Fox 4 is in your corner. This morning, we are getting results for a Cape Coral widow who's frustrated by how long it's taking to get a military honor for her late husband. Rose tells us she's upset that the military service emblem on her husband Lorenzo's headstone doesn't say anything about his 22 years in the Air Force. She says when she made the arrangements with Fort Myers Memorial Gardens, it was supposed to be there. So we went to the cemetery, and they told us the information will be on the headstone by this weekend.
Master Sergeant Lorenzo F. Salisbury was an absolute leader, and I need to have that represented on his marker. I need to have the United States Air Force emblem on that marker the way I planned it on January 8th, 2020.
You can certainly understand her passion. You can see the full story about how 4 in Your Corner got results for Rose when you go to our website, fox4now.com.
At 5:33, I want to take a look at this. A dry week here in Southwest Florida means the fire danger outlook is up right now. Lee County seeing another day with a very high risk of wildfires, and Charlotte and Collier counties not doing too much better. Want to check in with Trent now to see what it's going to take for us to really get out of this situation. I know that there is some rain that's going to be expected on Sunday, and is that really going to help?
It's not going to hurt. Let's put it that way. We need a lot more. We've only got about a 24-hour window there to pick up some much-needed rain. Lisa just walked you through the counties here that are in that high to very high. Lee County for the second straight day near the top of the category here. So as we look at the rainfall and what we need, the Drought Index gets updated every week, Thursday at 8:30. So at this time yesterday, we were waiting for this new one, and as anticipated, we see a large stretch there in Southwest Florida in that moderate, kind of that peachy color there, and you can see why. Check out the rainfall totals here for the year. Fort Myers remains just under 4 inches. That puts our deficit at 3.62. Naples, less than 2 inches. We should normally be approaching 7 for this time of year, and that puts us over 5 1/4 behind. Coming up, we'll walk you through that timeline over the weekend on when we can expect that rain.
All right, Trent, we'll see you shortly. Community nonprofits on the Treasure Coast say the need for resources is at an all-time high 1 year into this pandemic. The House of Hope in Martin County is working to curb food insecurity. And as Derek Lowe found out, the demand for help is forcing their space to expand.
overcoming hardship and hunger.
This is something where we can make a substantial difference to families every day.
Paula Hunt says the demand for nutritious food in Martin County is now greater than ever.
Every day, people have food insecurity. And it doesn't say that across here.
She started volunteering with the House of Hope 4 years ago, helping to provide fresh fruits and vegetables to those who otherwise would not have access.
We've got, seniors, single moms, kids that have recently aged out of foster care.
Robert Neary says the greater need, now due to the pandemic, is reason for an additional greenhouse